Oh,
Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday.
hello, hello. I need to record. Sec.
Yeah, let's record.
And we have my camera freezing. So we're working on that today. We're getting a new camera coming soon, but we are live. Hello, everybody.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to another live. Today, we are going to debunk the myth of the honeymoon phase in relationships. So if you are not finding men who feel like they're the right person for you, they're the love of your life, or they're who you're looking for at this moment, then this is going to be very juicy and it's going to be amazing training. So if you want to join us on Zoom and ask questions, you can also do that. You're welcome to join us on Zoom. So first of all, we are going to talk about what the honeymoon phase is, and then we're going to go into what it is really, right? Because there's the way we think about it, and then there's the reality of it. So today we're going to dive a little deeper into that. So the honeymoon phase is like the first 6 to 2 years of a relationship where everything feels like so exciting and flowing, and you guys are having fun, and there is no fights, there's no confrontation, no, everybody's happy, and there's not a lot of communication or like conflict resolution, I would say, because everybody's just like going with the flow, just focusing on like the passion, right? It's usually like a passionate time, and people, we all want to be liked, so we're almost like wearing this mask of being like, we get along so well, everything is good, nothing he does bothers me, kind of energy. So that's why this is called the honeymoon phase, because what happens after this phase is like you feel like you just fall off a building and like hit the floor hard, because you're like, whoa, what happened, right? Because there's a big difference usually in a lot of relationship. After that first period ends, you just don't understand. It feels like you're with a different person maybe, or you are acting and feeling different. So why does this happen, right? So we're going to talk about like the 4 main real reasons why this is happening, and what the honeymoon phase it really is, in its reality, when we face ourselves, right? When we tell the truth to ourselves, when we look at ourselves, with an honest open view, when we are ready to face the truth. So one of the things that is really overlooked is the incompatibility, right? Even though sometimes we feel like something is off, or you don't like something this person is doing, or let's say you're not aligned in terms of the way you work out, right? The way your lifestyle is. Maybe your goals, your future goals are not aligned. Let's say you want to have kids and he doesn't, or the opposite, but you don't talk about these things in the beginning, in the honeymoon phase, right? Yeah. You're just enjoying being in the moment and having fun. So you're basically ignoring the incompatibility in terms of your goals or your wants and desires. Let's say maybe this person is just like, maybe you travel in the beginning, right? You're having fun, you're going to places, then you're going partying. This is a good example, because actually I have a client who met his wife when they were partying hard, right? So they were partying, and in the first 6 months of the relationship, they just kept partying every single weekend, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They just kept drinking and, just partying, going out to dinners and dates. And then they moved in together. And I think like 2 to 4 months into, that period, things started kind of like falling apart and changing. and they were not in that like passionate, fun first 6 months honeymoon energy anymore, because because his partner, she wanted to get married and have kids and settle down. So but she didn't communicate. So she slowly like pulled herself back and started being like, oh, like, I don't want to go out, but like, yeah, you should go. Like, started being really passive aggressive. They started having fights because he wanted to keep partying. Like, he just didn't understand what was going on, right? He didn't get the memo that that was just a period of time. That was going to be 6 months and they were going to stop, because so their wants and desires are so different. They're not compatible, but they're not talking about these things. And sometimes we think that it's not time yet, it's too early, and you're having so much fun. Maybe you're having really good sex and you just don't want to lose these things. We're like, we get attached to these little things that we want, and maybe we've been missing for a while. And maybe you have good chemistry with this person, so you're ignoring the real stuff. And another one that goes under incompatibility is the values, right? We tend to become our partners if we're not careful, right? We start picking up on their habits and the way they talk or their values. And if you're not very set with your values, if you're not very clear on your values, and if you see this person being very sure of certain things and you're not sure of those things, you might just be like, oh, okay, like, I guess we, because you create a relationship, you become a we, and then you start thinking maybe that's your value too. But we don't stop and think if it is or not. We don't stop and evaluate how we feel about that, right?
Yeah.
So, and then after that period ends, you're like feeling so misaligned and you just don't know what happened, right? Everything was so nice, and what happened? All these things that we are not compatible with. And how did you not realize that you were not compatible?
Yeah. So I dated a guy a couple of months ago. And on OkCupid, we matched at 73% compatibility. We were 73% compatible. Like, as we dated, that is what I found. And I was like, no, and this is not enough for me. Right. And it was subtle things, like not even the big things like that, but just daily things, daily schedules, bedtimes, awake times, food times, types of food, TV. This guy was a football and news guy. Those are two of the things that are never on my TV if I have to choose them, right? So it can be minor stuff too, but yeah, incompatibility. And you don't know, and you're trying to be like that person, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to be okay. I mean, how many days did I actually sit and watch football with this guy, right? I was like, then finally I was like, I don't actually want to be with somebody who watches football. Like, that is not a part of my life.
And also, when you say something like, oh, they were just little things, but the little things are the big things.
Yeah.
Right? They accumulate. And the way, like, you first, the way you embrace each other when you first see each other it might seem like a small thing, but it's a big thing. How present you are, how connected you are. And like you said, if you're gonna watch TV, maybe in the beginning, let's say somebody hasn't been dating and you just want to cuddle and you don't care what's on TV, right?
Yeah.
I don't care if he's watching. I don't watch TV anyway. I wouldn't be watching something else. So if something's on TV and I don't like it, like, it doesn't matter. I just want to cuddle. I just want to be there with him.
Yeah.
So you do that, but then it like starts annoying you because you realize he's not paying attention to you. He's paying attention to the TV, and you're just like settling for that kind of cuddling without him being present with you, focusing on you, adoring on you, desiring you, touching you, caressing you. And he's just like, it's not enough. I think it's about the standards, like you said, like we need to remind ourselves that we deserve better. Like you said, it's not enough. And if you really, really want to be truly happy, if you want a fulfilling relationship where you feel like heard and seen and like desired and adored, then you really need to pay attention to, like, you need to get so clear on your standards and values and your belief systems about what you want and what you think that you are worthy of.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
So settle. And so, yeah, that's incompatibility part. So the second one I want to talk about is the love bombing. And I'm sure Kesley wants to chime in on this one. We both were in relationships in very with very unhealthy masculine men who love bombed the hell out of us. So my ex actually is really charming, and the kind of charming that even my own cousin still likes him, and he's socially very charming and very comfortable talking to anybody at any level, basically. Right? He's very charming. So he used all that charm on me. And, especially this being 15 years ago, I was just 20. It really worked. I was like, wow, I love this. He treats me like a queen. He opens my doors. He stands up when I come back from the bathroom at the restaurant. He would just stop everything and stand up and pull my chair and sit me down. And I was like, okay, he really spoiled me by these love bombing me. But the things that actually, he would just buy me a lot of stuff. And I'm not really big on gifts at all. But, at that time, being just young and having a lot of unhealed parts, I guess I felt like he valued me because he valued money and he valued things. And for him to buy me all these brand diamonds and brand bags and everything, I was like, oh wow, he thinks about me. When he's at work, he thinks about me and he goes and buys me things all the time. So I felt I thought I was feeling seen. I didn't know what it meant to feel seen at the time. So I got love bombed bad, and he was so good at it, right? And that's really was very tricky. That created that honeymoon phase for me. That first 6 months that we were together all the time, we lived together, and he would just come home early from work and with all these gifts, and we would just go out and this and that. And I was like, wow, I thought it was going to be like that,
How long did it last?
But he cannot 6 months, because I moved to another state to start my master's. Right? So when we were far away from each other, it started feeling a little weird. I realized I really care about quality time together and physical touch. I am not a long distance relationship person. And he couldn't keep face, right? He started showing his true colors. It was all a mask to show him someone he's not, basically. But he's so good at it. It felt so natural. I thought that's who he was, because he's such a good actor and a liar.
And he was doing it to manipulate to get what he wanted. He wasn't authentic in it, right? It was not. And so you and I have both dated people that were like that, or been with them that were like that really turned it on in the beginning to kind of woo us and make us be like, whoa. And it feels like you're being swept off your feet. You're like, oh my gosh, you did that. But when you get a real healthy masculine man, it doesn't, you don't get swept up like that. You get held. It's a different kind of holding. And then we go back to the standards, right? And once you've had that, you won't go back. So
right. Yeah, the love bombing, it felt like a hook, right? So they do it until they hook you, and they get to know all your vulnerabilities and weak spots, and they put all these hooks on you, and you're like, even after you realize you want to get out, it gets harder and harder because of all the hooks from the love bombing to undo and cut all the cords. It's a whole process. So it's so important to know the red flags and also the green flags that look like green flags. And Kesley has an amazing resource about this. So if you want that, again, DM us or comment below, and we can send that to you. It's really amazing. You need that. If you've ever been in a relationship and you've been gaslighted or love bombed, if it was toxic, if this person was emotional unavailable, you need this thing. So it's free. Just let us know and we'll send it to you.
Yes.
All right. So moving on, I do want to add anything about love bombing?
No, I think it moves perfectly into the inauthenticity that we were
right. So number 3 is inauthenticity. So in the beginning, yeah, this was one of the things that I do. I used to avoid confrontation and conflict because it just felt like too chaotic. And I felt like, I was anxiously attached, and we're going to talk about attachment styles in the future in the group and the program as well. Because of my attachment style, I was avoiding conflict, and it's made me not communicate my needs and the heartbreaks, like the things that were really like started breaking me from inside. And I just kept like sweeping things under the rug basically, because I didn't want to have confrontation. I didn't want to, I just like, I'm such a peaceful person, like I like things like calm and peaceful and grounded. And I always feel like if I talk something out, or if I say something that I want, or if I say something that, something is bothering me, I feel like, oh my God, it's going to be such a big fight and it's just not worth it. I'll just like, ignore it, that's how I used to be. So I was not being authentic. I was not in alignment with what my heart, my soul, my body needed. And it's horrible because like I have to take responsibility and call myself out, because the person cannot read my mind, right? If something is bothering me, it's on me to speak up.
Yep.
And so basically I was like settling because there were certain things I really liked and I thought that I wanted. And let's say if I wanted 10 things, he had like 4. And I was like, you know what, the other stuff is not important. It's okay. I can just like, I can deal with that. Like, it's okay. Like I have these 4, and I was like holding on to them so tight that I forgot who I am.
Yep.
Being very inauthentic. And I mean, of course, it's a learning experience, and that's what we want to also like we preach, is that every dating experience is a learning experience. They're all like steps towards like your own most authentic self. And the more you realize all the people that come into your life in terms of relationships as well are the mirrors to what you need to see and explore within yourself and heal and integrate, the easier it's gonna get. Because then you don't have to settle. You do deserve what you want. Like, you are worthy of having it all. I think a lot of women settle because they don't think that they are worthy of that. And they don't know also how it looks like. Like, what does it feel like to be fully yourself with all the emotions and the grief and the anger and, all the things that you also maybe deem bad or negative, with all your emotions, with all your fire, with all your anger, with all your beauty and flow and, all these feminine aspects, and then still be loved and be seen and accepted and adored and admired and desired, all the things. It's like, because if you've never had it before, you just don't know what it looks like. You don't know what it feels like. So even if you have it, you're not gonna understand that you have it. You might actually lose relationships if you don't know these things, because you're gonna think that, no, this is maybe too good to be true, right? We were talking about this before. Maybe maybe you dated the person that is right for you, but you are not ready, or you didn't believe that you were worthy of that. Or maybe it sounded like this person felt boring, right? Because you're not trauma bonding, right? Which we're going to talk about. So in our program, one of our goals is to teach you how a healthy relationship should look and feel like, so that when you have it, you recognize it and you know how to receive it, and how to surrender to that, how to understand and believe and trust that you do deserve that. That's how it's supposed to be. And most of us don't have an example of that. Like, my parents didn't have a healthy relationship. My aunt, my friends' parents, like, I didn't have it. I didn't see it in front of me. My aunt got a divorce. I wish my parents got a divorce, but they didn't, right? So my grandparents, like, I don't know. I just didn't know. I had to learn all this information. And, you know, a lot of things that we teach in the, you know, our 4 pillars, you know, I need to learn all of those things and then be like, oh, okay, like that is healthy. That is what it looks like to have a healthy relationship. And I can actually feel fulfilled. I can have all the things that I want and deserve. So yeah, it's so important, especially if you don't have an example of what it looks like. It's crucial to learn how it's supposed to look and how it's gonna look and feel for you at this moment.
And then you get to know that authenticity. How do I want this to be? Because if you're sitting and looking compared on what you know, right? The experiences you've had, then you may think you're being authentic. No, I'm authentic. This is how my mom showed up. This is how people show up, right? And you're not even able to show up as yourself because you haven't even looked at yourself because you're too busy trying to please the people around you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The people pleasing is a big one for sure. Thank you for like bringing that up. Yeah. Especially for women, we were taught that that's what we're supposed to be doing. We should put the other person first. We should be just giving and forgive and forget and just like focus on the other person. But you know, this journey of, you know, dating and finding the person that, you know, that is meant for you involves you getting to know yourself first. Because we are all conditioned to think what a relationship should look like and feel like, right? We're acting from our minds, but our minds are always tricking us. So it's important to know exactly what you want and how you want to show up in a relationship, the feeling of it, and how you want to feel when you're with the right person, when you are with your man.
Because if you're not showing up in all of these, right? If we're showing up inauthentically, we're going to get love bombed. We're going to get all of these things are going to happen. We're not real. So that means we're not showing up. And so the relationship is not even getting 2 partners, really. It's getting part of one and part of another. And it feels great. And then you get to the end of that time that runs out and basically it's as long as those masks can stay on, right? That's the honeymoon phase. How many masks do we have in place? How well can we keep them on our face? How well can we pretend, right? How good of actors can we be? And the longer the actor can go, the longer the honeymoon phase lasts, right? And this is where we get into expectations. That's kind of the last big one that really messes with us with honeymoon phase. We get tons of expectations from our family. And one message, for instance, that I heard, although my mom swears she never said that to me, that it was what was given to her, but I somehow I knew this was, don't marry the man, marry the lifestyle. You can learn to love the man.
Oh, wow.
Wow, did that fuck me over? Like, woo, did that do a number on me? So that was a big part of it. It was like, oh, it's the lifestyle. Oh, it's this, right? But we also have, how important is it in your family to get married? Is there a ton of pressure? Like, what is going on, right? So all of these expectations, you could be marrying somebody maybe you don't even want to get married. But you've married this person because the other one my mom used to say is you're never going to find the perfect man. You're only going to find one who bugs you the least.
Right.
And I get the idea of that, but what it does is it keeps you from having your checklist.
Right.
Right. It keeps you from really knowing what you want, which is like a forced settling. There's a show, an Indian matchmaking show, I think it's on Netflix. And I watch it and it drives me up the wall when the women will have like 5 or 6 things. Or like, it's really important that he be kind and really important that he's this and really important. She's like, wow, all those, really? And it's like, yeah, really. Because if you don't, here's the thing, everything you have going on in your brain is manifesting, right? We're either manifesting the negative side or we're manifesting what we want or what we don't want, not positive and negative, but it's just what we want and what we don't want. So if we're trying to manifest and we're thinking about what we don't want, guess what we're going to get? Guess that if we're only thinking, oh, I just want this, 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 and this, you have left the rest of it up to the universe. That's dangerous, in my opinion.
Very.
Like, no, get specific. Know what you want. It's taking the expectations that you were conditioned with and creating your own. You have to create your own expectation. Otherwise, you're trying to live somebody else's life.
Yeah.
That's
And I
the other.
think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's the other way the honeymoon phase ends, is because those expectations can't be met anymore. They're not real. So they're like fantasy dreams that we have, and we're trying to behave and do the right thing, and then we end up in a miserable relationship, and then we settle.
Yeah, and I think, like, to piggyback on your, the keeping the mask on part, like for me, I was married for 8 years, but I was together with my ex for, like, let's say 5, and then I broke up, like separated, and then got divorced. But like, it's like then you have like these things that you check, that only 5 things, and not the things that you actually value and care about, because you're not even like curious about yourself and what makes you feel good inside, right? So I checked all those boxes, and everything looked perfect from the other side. Like my whole life looked perfect. Like I did my mom's a teacher, so it was very important for her that I do my master's degree, right? So I went to do my master's degree. I was learning Spanish, and then I got the ring, I got the perfect like wedding, and then I got, I had miscarriages, but then I had the perfect child, and then I moved from New York to like Miami, got a nice like penthouse, the car that I want, like everything was just like, my friends like admired my life to the point like, girl, you have everything that anybody could ever want, right? It looked like perfect from outside, but I felt so empty inside. Let me tell you, that was my worst moment of my life. Like I felt like, what can be worse than this is just like death. Like
Yeah.
how it felt like. And I was like, wow, like dark night of the soul, scream crying, and I was just like, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is wrong? Like I'm like, am I why am I not being happy? I have everything I thought I needed to be happy. Like I just didn't understand in the beginning.
Right.
And my ex also didn't understand. He was like, you have everything, what do you want?
Right. I thought I did good. I provided you, I gave you what you wanted.
And it's like, you have everything. You're supposed to be happy. Right. But it's like, even he was not happy. He was escaping, using work as an excuse. Like he thought he said he wanted to have a child, but he was not there the first 5 years of his life. He just kept abandoning and like escaping the relationship, the responsibilities, being a father, like, and a husband, like all of it. And he just had a kid because looking back, I realized there was a lot of pressure from his parents about him having a child, especially a boy. Like that's how the conditioning was so strong, because of like, I'm from Turkey, he's from Turkey. So we have a lot of like cultural conditioning as well on top of the general ones. So yeah, like he also didn't know himself. I also didn't know myself. No wonder we attracted each other, right? With the consciousness I had at the time and he had, like, it was a perfect match. It was perfect trauma bonding.
Yep.
So yeah, it's important to explore and be curious about yourself, and set your expectations right. And I think like in the program, I'm actually very excited about, maybe we can do like a vision board for the man that you want, right? Like you need a vision board, and you need like 30, 40, 50, 100, like everything. Like you don't need 5 or 10 things there. You need like as many things as you can possibly think of. Right?
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, and when you're dating, right, in your dating journey, this is what happened to me. I discovered a manifestation tool by going through my dating journey before I found the love of my life that I've been dating right now for 9 months, which was when I was dating the man before him. There were things that I never had before. And I realized, like, I got to feel those feelings of like this person, let's say, cooking for me, like really doing this, which love languages would that be? Like, so the action, he's doing like actions for me, like he's putting in the effort to feed me, like he cares about me. So he's like cooking for me, and I never had it before. And it felt so good. And I realized that I need to expand, like I need to like surrender and relax into that and receive that, right? It was just this moment of like, I don't know what to do with this. Like how, like it felt uncomfortable. I was like, you want me to set up the table or something? He's like, no,
Right.
no, sit down. You sit down and have your wine, and I'm gonna do everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are? You will? Like,
What?
do you, like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
Yeah.
so I didn't know what to do because I was not doing something for him. I was not people pleasing him. I was not like giving. And I was like, okay, I like this. And I got to feel the feeling. And that's one of the things that's, I think, really important for manifestation and for getting to know what you want. I learned that I want someone who cooks for me or even prepares a fruit salad for me. Like I just like sitting there and being the queen that I am and have my man work in the kitchen. Like it can be just coffee, it can be anything, but just bring something.
He's providing for you.
Provide me something like that. And I was like, okay, put that on the dear universe, put that on the list, please, right? And this is not something I would just like, if I was just sitting down and making a list of 5-6 things, this
Right.
wouldn't come to my mind,
Yeah.
right? But I learned myself through living and through experimentation and through exploration, curiosity. So when we do our vision board for the men that is meant for you, that that's going to serve you the best right now, we are going to tap into these things. We're going to tap into the feelings. How do you want to feel? What parts of you want to be seen? How do you want to connect? How do you want to show up? We're going to go really into detail and like dig deep so that we can create this like beautiful vision board for you to manifest your men.
Yeah, I've been doing that. Every date I went on, I was like, I'll keep this, I'll keep, that can go. This I'll keep, that can go. This I'll keep. And now that I have Dorje, I'm like, yep, there it is, 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 there it is. Yay. Right? Yeah. It's all there. I can see it. Even down to when I saw that picture of you and Marat, and I was like, I want someone to hold me like that. I get that. Like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, so manifesting is going to be your best bet to avoid the honeymoon phase because it helps you get super, super clear. Another thing, and we've been saying this, is you've got to get to know yourself, but getting to know yourself alone isn't quite enough. You really need to make sure that you're healing those parts that were wounded so that what you're asking for is something that actually serves you. Sometimes we'll just ask for the opposite of what we ever had and not even know what else exists. And it's like, there's leaving some space for learning about yourself through the healing, right? Things I didn't know I was okay with, I want to do now because I have a different partner who's holding me in a different way. So it all changes. And like, I can see this is not a honeymoon phase. This is real. It's different. Honeymoon phase feels like you're being whirled up and swept and there's like a tornado taking you and you're like, oh, you almost don't have any control over it. When it's grounded and healthy, it's not as exciting, but it feels way better. Way better. Feels so.
I think it's funny because my boyfriend, who's not a relationship coach at all, right? So when we were dating in the beginning, so it's been 9 months. We're 9 months in right now. So in the first 1 or 2 months, we went on a vacation and we were going out and we were just like really doing a lot of healing work together as well, doing breath work, which we're gonna do in the program. So we were doing the work. Our relationship felt like, it went so deep. We got to know each other and ourselves so much better, like you said, in this relationship. Like it was a different kind of mirror where we called each other forward and we just grew. I learned how to fully surrender because this is the first healthy masculine, divine masculine man in my life, including my dad. I realized that I never felt safe with another man before. So now I get to ask for more. I get to explore different parts of myself. I get to surrender and relax different parts of myself. I'm just like, it's a continuous exploration and this feminine masculine dance of like, oh, like, is this safe? Wow, okay, like if that's safe, what about this? What about that? How do you feel about this? Like this communication that I never thought can exist, you know. And I studied also like nonviolent communication, you know, got Gottman Institute of like the relationships. Like I studied a lot of these things and I understand they exist, but I didn't experience it before. So when I started experiencing them, I was like, wow, like this is really happening. And it just really changed the game for me. What I wanted to say about him is, like, in the beginning, he said something like, he said, oh, you think that this is just like a honeymoon phase and this is just like in the beginning of our relationship and everything is like, you know, all exciting, and like, do you think that this is honeymoon phase and it's all gonna go away? And he was like, no, 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 no. This is only going to escalate and go deeper. And, you know, like he called it, and I was like, okay, like that's
Yes, sign me up.
I was like, okay, like I can do that. I can do that, you know. And it felt so interesting because I was like, I just didn't know any better. Like I knew, but my nervous system didn't know.
Exactly.
Right, my body didn't know. And then that really made me surrender more. So everything feeds each other, right? Safety feeds like the surrender feeds more vulnerability, and that feeds more like connecting on different levels and going deeper. So all these parts of, you know, what's a healthy relationship feels like and looks like, and what a healthy divine masculine, how he shows up, and how you get to show up as the divine healthy feminine. Like all these things we're going to cover in the program, and this is going to change your dating life. Not only dating, yeah, this is going to change your life. It changed mine, and that's why I am so passionate about teaching this. And, you know, in the beginning, when I was talking to Cassie, and like she was saying, she saw that picture, you know, you also like we become mirrors for each other. Like she saw that picture and she's like, I want to be held like that, with that passion, right? Because my boyfriend is like so masculine and I'm like so feminine. That picture is more than a picture. There's so much. It's a loaded picture with the masculine feminine dynamics and trust and safety and surrender and passion. Like there's so much in that picture that like you can look at it and be like, yeah, put that on my like vision board.
Yep. Put that on my list.
Yeah.
Right. Don't get jealous, get listy. Right. Anytime. And this goes for anything. If you see someone that has something you want, don't be like, that's not fair. Be like, universe, I want some of what she's having. I want some of what she's having. Send it my way. Add that to the list, please.
Yeah, it's just a mirror of what's possible for you.
Yeah.
Like if I have it, that means it just, if it exists in the field, like in the world, like if it exists, that means it's also exists for you. You just need to rise your, you know, like you need to be ready for it, you know, align your vibration, align your mind, body, soul, heart, and just be ready for it. Show up.
Yeah.
So definitely these are just mirrors, and that's the goal. You know, when we shine, you know, we show other women that, you know, it's okay. It's almost giving a permission to each other. And one thing about the feminine energy, healthy feminine, is like co-creation and cooperation and, you know, lifting each other up. Like Cassie and I are like creating this program together. Like we are in our healthy feminine collaborating and supporting each other, you know, having each other's back. And, you know, that's why I think this is so special. Like the energy of this program is very like supportive. You're going to feel like held. You're going to feel like we have your back. We're going to also teach you how to have your own back, how to create safety and trust from like inside out. And that's going to radiate, you know, that's going to radiate, and it's going to help you manifest your men.
So if you guys are ready to start doing that work, to get to that foundation, to start to call in these amazing men like we are doing, then tell us, type honeymoon below, and someone will reach out to you with some details about how we can help you learn to do this too.
Exactly. Yes. If you have any questions also, you can post below and we will answer them next Thursday. So yeah, we go live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
So you can join us on Zoom or Facebook Live. So just put in your calendar and we will see you next Thursday.
Yep. Have a great week.
Bye.